Hey there, this video is all about, for you my ladies, I guess for the men as well, anybody can watch it, but it's advice for if you're thinking about a career change and you really want to quit your job. So the day I'm releasing this video is going to be June 22nd. It'll be my 31st birthday, right? And it's kind of making me think about a lot of things. And it was exactly 4 years ago that I started to be, thinking about, I'm over this. I think I need to leap and do my own thing, right? And so there was a lot that was going on during that period and that I've learned since that I want to share with you. And these are the top 10 tips. All right, let's hit it. Alright, number one, pay attention to your body. Holy Toledo, ladies, we seriously ignore ourselves. I was gaining a lot of weight. I know, probably doesn't seem believable I'm healthy now, but I was. And I also was having really bad, violent dreams. Like gross ones, like I was, thinking I was, spitting up teeth and I'd hold them in my hand. It was disgusting. And what I've learned is that when I'm really stressed, when something is not working well in my life, it cues into my psyche and I'm having dreams about it, nightmares rather. And of course, my body was speaking volumes as well. So listen and tune into your body. That's the number one advice I want you to start with. How does your body feel? If it's feeling stressed, tense, all the things, you know what they are. Just stop ignoring it. Tune in, right? Number two, don't get so hung up on finding your purpose. We have so much pressure on this, and it does matter, right? We have to have a sense of meaning in our lives. This is true. But there's something I've been learning about because my own partner's been going through this, right? Like figuring out what next. And so I was reading this book, Man's Search for Meaning. And it's really interesting. In his case was that, this is someone that was in internment camps in World War II, right? I mean, he saw the most heinous of situations of all where there should be no hope and certainly no sense of purpose. But what he said was, the reality is this tension, this uncomfortableness that you feel, it actually is healthy. It's how you feel like I need to take action and do something else with my life. If we always felt content and purposeful, then we wouldn't ever change. We wouldn't do anything different with our lives. So embrace the fact that what you're feeling, A, is normal, but B, it's part of the process. It's healthy. This is the tension that's getting you to take action and do something. And there's so much pressure on finding your purpose. Well, your purpose can change, right? It's going to change. We have seasons of purpose. So the only way we really move towards that, closer and closer and closer, is by taking action. And then that action informs, hey, is this guiding me towards what I think is my purpose? Okay. I don't even want to use the word purpose. Is this guiding me towards something that feels meaningful? That's what I mean. Okay, number three, fail fast and fail forward. This is my number one takeaway from my first year in business, consulting as a grant writer, and other things. I had started a sexy startup that epically failed, call it my 3-month MBA. And what I learned from that was we hold on to concepts because we have a freaking ego, right? And then we're unwilling to let it go because, like in my case, I was embarrassed that it had been a pretty public deal that I'm just quitting my job and setting out on my own. And it'll be the same thing for you. People are going to think you're so courageous and crazy, right? And so it's very, very helpful to ground yourself in, hey, I don't have a lot of runway here. I have to make decisions quickly and nimbly. Maybe your organization had enough money that they didn't have to act very nimbly, but if you're going to go out and do something radical and on your own, you have to be quick. The longest I've ever let something go that wasn't working before I took action was 3 months, which is actually pretty fast. Most people sit on things and even contemplate a career change for 11 months before taking the first action. So get to the point where you see something is working or not working and failing really quickly on that, right? I'm going to give you a quick example. So as my grant writing business was growing, I was hiring contract grant writers to help me out. And before I started hiring my own students, which were well trained, I was hiring grant writers through another platform. And I started working with this new grant writer. I was giving her an entire project. I could not deal with it. I had lots going on. Well, it wasn't clicking. She just wasn't taking initiative. She wasn't getting the kickoff agenda put together. And she hadn't actually done anything wrong. She really hadn't yet. But I had this feeling in my gut that said, we're not really starting at the cadence and off on the right foot. I need to call this. So I told her, I'm like, look, I know this is weird because you haven't technically done anything wrong, but I just don't feel like this is going to be a good fit for you for a variety of intuitive reasons. I would like to cancel this contract. She didn't even charge me for some of the time that she'd already spent working on it because frankly, she hadn't worked up much anyway. But it was like, I called it before it even was a problem. And that was like, that's how quickly my fail fast has set in, and it's really helped save me from, I know that would have been a disaster. I would have been cleaning it up and doing half the application beyond stressed out in January. Okay. Fail fast and fail forward. Boom. Get up, do it again. It's all good. Okay. Number 4. I need you to know how to make money. So if you need money, you can make money. Okay, it's one of the most important ways that you are truly free and not beholden to a life that isn't what you want. So, for example, the best way you can do this is you need to learn how to be a freelancer, how to do consulting work. So if for some reason, when we transitioned, basically turning off our consulting business and going all in on teaching people how to be grant writing freelancers themselves, my online course, it just wasn't profitable. The way it was set up was like, frankly, we lost thousands of dollars for 3 months before I was like, this isn't working. Take action, fail fast, fail forward, right? But I always knew, even if that was scary, right? I mean, bank account, draining. But I always knew if I need money, we can spin up $50,000 of contract work within 6 weeks. I know we can do it. And it's very freeing. You can take bigger risks when you know you can make money. But if you don't know how to do contracting, how to do business development, how to do this stuff, right? Or have a skill that you can charge someone and get paid for, then this tool isn't in your toolbox. And it's really the key that frees you, knowing you can make money if you need to make money, right? And it could be doing anything, seriously. Like, I've done day of wedding planning, used to do 2 weddings a year. It was great. It's how I paid for some of my mountain bike gear, right? It doesn't matter what you do, but it's important to know, hey, can I make money if I need it? Okay, number 5, the timing is never right. This is something I get all the time. We get a lot of emails from people that are saying, hey, I'm not sure, like, when should I get into grant writing consulting, or even start to take your program and pull off this career change. I think I need to wait till summer, or I need to wait till this and until that. It's never a good time, ever. It's just reality. I mean, it kind of is. Like, of course, you can plan certain seasons because you're looking ahead and saying, okay, I'm going to make room for this. I'm creating space for this exactly in 2 weeks. But the thing is, career changes take time. You have to start before you're ready because you're moving them in parallel, right? So think about it like this. You have a full-time job. You've got a lot going on, maybe a family. So you got to get this thing going, your change. Get it rolling so that it can start to grow and it can then take over your main job so you can quit and actually feel like you have some freaking income, right? So it's important to understand that that change does not happen overnight. Most people, like, realistically, before they could make that leap is 6 to 9 months. And that's getting trained and being wildly supported to pull this off, right? Okay, you can do it. We'll shorten that so it's way faster, but that's the realistic amount of time it takes to really get all that momentum going. Okay, I am going to now pause real quick, clean this, write down the next 5 tasks or next 5 tips, and then we'll finish it up in a sec. All right, part 2. Okay, number 6. Life is long if you know how to use it. A quote from Seneca, the Stoic philosopher. Fun fact. The company name, our company name, is actually Seneca Works. And it was because I really wanted us to stay kind of rooted in the value of, yes, we're working our heinies off, we're working hard, but let's not lose sight of why we do this. We do this to live a full and fulfilling life in all parts of who you are, not just your work life, right? All right, number 7, it's always scarier from the outside. I know you might be feeling fear, apprehension about making a leap into something new, But if there's anything I've learned time and time and time again, and I want you to reflect and see if you can come up with an example in your life. Everything's scarier when you don't understand what it is, learning something new. And then when you're in it, it's better. And here's a story about this, which I'll link the actual full article below. But when I just started my business, I was 3 weeks in. I get this letter from the IRS that says you need to project your income or not the IRS, but from healthcare.gov. So we know if your premium tax credit is appropriate, right? And so I sit down and I make a budget and I realize, oh my gosh, how am I going to make enough money to even succeed? I have no plan. I've got $3,000 left to even keep feeding myself, let alone grow a business, right? I mean, I was thinking, holy smokes. On the weekends in my household, we get outside, right? So we go backcountry skiing, usually if it's in the winter. And so I'm with my ski partners and we get up on top of this hairy couloir. A couloir, in case you don't know, I'll slice in a photo, is like a straw of snow, right? There's cliffs on both sides or rock, and then it's just this little narrow thing that you can ski in. I love them. Super fun and challenging. But I'm on top of this sucker looking down, and my ski partner says, I think it should go, but it chokes in the middle and it could be a pretty sizable drop. I'm not for sure. I think we've had enough snow. It should be skiable, but I'm not sure. And all I can see is nothing but these ribbed rocks, just fins of rock that's poking through on just bulletproof snow, not anything down the run. And I'm freaking out, which means I'm basically eating because I'm stressing. So I'm eating some gummy bears and I'm eating some bacon, right? And I'm feeling a lot better, mildly. But basically, I tell the boys, I say, guys, I'm going first. And they're like, are you sure? Because if you can't ski that, you're going to have to boot all the way back up. And if you're freaking 5'0" like I am, that's really hard work. And I knew I needed to go because I was frankly kind of freaking out. And I didn't want to lose my you-know-what, at the top of this mountain. And then what would I do? I needed to just make a few turns and I needed to go. And so I make my first few turns. They're freaking scratchy and awful. And then right as I fold out of sight, it is powder, perfect turns. I mean, everything just melts away. And it's just me and this couloir. I just get shivers even thinking about it. It feels really fresh. Oh, it was one of my best days ever. But anyway, so I make this turns. I get down to this little choke. Yes, it's a little bit of a drop, but it was totally skiable. I, drop it and I hang a left and I kind of hang under this, I don't know, protected thing. And, radio up to my ski partners and say, all right, it's awesome. Let it rip. So they come down and because of where I'm stationed, I actually can get some great pictures. And it was just me and the mountain and the sun and just everything falling away. And what I realized later on as I'm touring out was that is such a symbol for life and for business. I am at the top of the couloir. I was at the top of the couloir, right? I was freaking out. I wanted to turn around and go back to the car the way I came, i.e. go get my normal job and give up consulting and give up my dream. But instead, I made a few turns and then I realized, hey, this isn't that bad. I can figure out the next thing and figure out the next. Yeah, I don't know if the snow variability is going to change, but I'll figure it out when I get there. And you can do the same, right? So please take that story to heart. I want you to think about an example of it in your life, that it is always scarier from the outside. Make a few turns and it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, number 8. Study yourself and create space for this career change. It is unreasonable to expect yourself to pull off a whole career change and make time for this pivot and not give up anything else, right? And not create room for that. So what I found was I used to mountain bike competitively, training all the time, and I was getting into these long distance rides, racing frequently. And I found when I started my business and I was getting ready to do this big old career change, I couldn't do that anymore. I didn't have the bandwidth. I could do that when I was in a normal job and it wasn't stress. I just didn't have that. It didn't take that much brain power, right? So, whereas this meant, hey, I need to bike now to relax. I'm going to do it for me because it's fun. I'm not racing anymore. I can't. So I made this shift. I want you to think about in your life, how can you what needs to kind of lighten up? What do you put a lot of pressure on yourself for that you could kind of take off your plate? Another example, I actually dropped down to part-time hours at my full-time job 4 months before I actually quit, which should have been their first red flag, but whatever. And the reason I did that was I wanted to take a course on coding. I wanted to learn how to basically code your own website. So it was like 10 to 15 hours a week to take that course and really stay on top of the materials for 8 weeks. And I'm so glad I created the space for that learning to happen, so I wasn't losing my mind under stress while still also, you know, having time to get outside and take care of your health and your family and your friends. Well, guess what? If you ever wonder why our website's so rad, that's largely thanks to my partner, but I can code my own changes. I want to change something on the website, I can do it. And it was because I created space for a new technical skill to move into my life. You need to do the same thing. It takes thinking about it intentionally. How do I create space for this new thing you want to do? Okay, number 9, the flywheel gains momentum. And I actually have a quote for you on this. Okay, so this is an email that we send out. Basically, if you're on our email list, you might get this email. But my number one mentor in life sent me this when I was freaking out about quitting my job, not knowing if I should do it or not, right? And I think that this could be helpful for you. Okay, it's a quote from Tim Ferriss, who's a little bit bro, so excuse me for using his quote, but it's good. For all of the most important things, the timing always sucks. Waiting for a good time to quit your job, the stars will never align, and the traffic lights will never all be green at the same time. The universe does not conspire against you, but it doesn't go out of its way to line up the pins either. Conditions are never perfect. Someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. Pro and con lists are just as bad. It's so important to you. If it's important to you and you want to do it eventually, just do it and course correct along the way. I have that little statement, at least in the first year of business, right next to my desk to just remind me. It's not perfect timing, but I'm doing it now because this flywheel is a little bit hard to get going. But once you get it rolling, right, then you're in business, and the whole thing comes together so much faster. Well, basically, then you go from year 1 might be slow, or your first 6 months. I'm trying to shorten that whole learning journey for you. Will not take as long as it took me. And then it gains momentum. You've got more clients and you know what to do with. You're hiring other people. You're growing a team. You're formalizing your business, right? There's so many different, you have to change as you're growing through this evolution. But recognize the flywheel needs to get started. Okay, final thought. Number 10. Boom. It does not work if you are having fun. There is very little in the business that I'm in that I feel like this is work, right? That would be like filing taxes. But on the whole, it's energizing, it's fun. And when you find clients and work and opportunities that just fire you up, feed your soul, that you feel really high energy vibrations from, it's not work. It's fun. You're thinking, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. This is really cool. I'm having a great time. That's what I want for you. So that it doesn't feel like work, it's fun, right? Okay, and with that, I'm gonna wrap it up because this is a little bit longer than my usual trainings. But I hope you find those top 10 bits of advice super useful. I would also love to know in the comments below because, hey, consider it a birthday gift to me. That would be lovely. What is something you've learned? What's like one statement that really matters a lot to you as you have thought about making a change in your life? I would love to know. Stories are really amazing and appreciated. All right, if you've liked this video, hit subscribe. That's useful. And then I'll link a couple things below to help you as you, just process everything I just shared with you. All right, that's it. Thank you.